All right, Chris Orsini here, and just getting ready. We're a couple minutes behind. My apologies. There was a meeting on this account prior to this, so I had to wait till last minute to get this set up. So I'm just gonna give a few minutes for some people to hop in, then we'll get started here. There we go. We have Mackenzie Miller joining us. Good afternoon, Mackenzie. Just going to give it 2 more minutes to see if anyone else can slide in here. How you doing today, Mackenzie? Hi, Chris. I don't have my computer, so I am just on my desktop. I'm good. How are you? Awesome. I am good as well. The end of the day is upon us, and I'm feeling it a little bit, but it's not going to stop me. Give it 1 more minute. Usually I've got a couple regulars. Let's see. I know I haven't been doing Tuesdays for the last couple weeks, so that might throw a couple people off. Yes, I should have sent an email. Nope, that's fine. There we go. We got some people rolling in here. Awesome. We've got Christine and Terry Reed. Okay, so now we've got a few people in here. Hey, Christine. Hey, Terry. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Good to see you guys. All right, so we got a little bit of a late start, but it's not going to stop us. We're going to go through setting up your site and your app. So the first couple things. First thing you need to do, and I'm not going to go through the process right now because we are covering a lot in a very short period. Man, they're flooding in. Mackenzie, I'm going to make you co-host so you can admit people from the waiting room. You know what? Why not make Andressa as well? Cool. So the first thing you need to do is to set up your marketing profile. Again, I'm not going to go through it in this class. I go through this, the marketing profile, when I teach contacts. So just so you know, to get there, you click on your name at the top right corner and then click settings. Then you'll want to click connect settings and select marketing profile. And on this page, you want to go through and put as much data about yourself as possible. You also make sure to fill in anything that's required, which has a red asterisk, and then anything else you can possibly fill in, and then save it at the bottom. Reason being is if you don't do this first, you will not, it'll block you from setting up your site and your app. So all the data from this is going to feed into setting up your site and your app. And this also feeds into any marketing materials you create or send out. So for instance, when you send out an email, this headshot is going to be in that email. One thing to keep in mind is the team logo. Unless you have a team or brand logo, leave that blank because otherwise it's difficult to remove. Okay, so we're going to head on over to the consumer applet, which is the very last option we have here on the left. Again, you can click the KW logo if you need the names. I'm going to click consumer, and this is going to bring us into the applet where we control our consumer services, which is our landing pages, our agent site pages, and our consumer app. So the first thing we need to do is set up our agent site. I'm not going to get into landing pages. If we want to talk about that, we can talk about that on an Ask Me Anything. I think for the most part, our agent site should fill most of the needs that you would have for landing for site needs. So to create your agent site, we're going to click Site and App Settings here. So this will bring us into some settings and that we can kind of set on the fly for our site, but we first need to set up the site itself. And we do that with something that's called a Kelly guide. A Kelly guide is essentially a wizard, a setup wizard. We have those throughout Command in various places. So we're going to click Learn More with Kelly Guides up here at the top right corner. When we click this window pops open and it gives us the option to either complete the agent site or the consumer settings. And consumer settings is the consumer app. So we're going to select agent site because that is what we need to do first. We will not be allowed to set up the consumer settings if we don't have our agent site set up. So I'm going to click continue. And it's going to ask you to leave. We haven't made any changes here, so don't worry about clicking leave. And now this is going to bring us into our Kelly guide for agent sites. And in Kelly guide fashion, or even KWU fashion, in Train the Presenter, if you ever take Train the Presenter or Train the Trainer, they teach you, tell you what you're going to learn, or tell you what I'm going to teach you, teach it to you, and then tell you what I just taught you. So here, we're telling you what we're going to set up, then we set it up, and then at the end, tell you what you set up and what you can do with it. So we're going to choose our domain, we're going to theme and style it, and then create some pages. We'll click Get Started and acknowledge and continue. This is just a compliance reminder to not creating anything out of compliance. Pretty much is a disclaimer to that, if you do break any laws or rules, that's on you and not KW. So I'm going to acknowledge and continue. And we're on step 1. This is setting up your subdomain. So the first thing you want to do is select what subdomain you want. Now, let me explain what we're looking at right here, because on the left, we have our example. This is our sample site right here on the left. And on the right, we have all the settings. This is where we can do setup and change details. And just something to keep in mind is these two columns can scroll independently. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. So here we have what our site is going to look like, and we can choose our subdomain. Keep in mind some subdomain options that would be, obviously like realestate.kw.com. If I try to claim that, that's reserved. So just type in whatever you want, click confirm domain and see if it's available. And if it is, you get this congrats, you have claimed your subdomain and it is all yours. Now, we will do that. And next is the marketing profile information. So this is where I just spoke about the marketing profile. It's pulling in all that data in to set up your site. Now I'm going to click this drop down and it's going to expand. You'll notice on this screen, you only see 3 fields, but there's a plethora of fields underneath this. And this is where that independent scrolling column thing comes in. So you'll see if I scroll on the left, if my mouse is in the left example area, it's going to stop eventually. But now what I need to do is put my mouse on the right column and scroll, and that scrolls independently. That throws a few people off. So you will need to come through here and find any blank required fields. So your professional job title, for example, is one of them that catches people off guard. So keep an eye out for that one. Go put in realtor, or for me, it's director of technology, or whatever term is appropriate. And complete any other data that you want to put in there. As far as the legal footer goes, I get questions about that a lot. So we have this field right here for compliance and legal footer. What we put here in Florida is each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated. I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat box. So you guys can just copy and paste that in. So each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated. That's all we need to put in there. So when you scroll down to this compliance legal footer link 1 and the footer images, you can ignore that. It's not required in our state. Now, if we scroll to the bottom, we'll see any images that we put in there. So our headshot and the DBA logo, those will be pulled from the marketing profile and put in here. So I'm going to say, yes, I like the way this is now, and I'm going to save and continue. I know I am moving through this pretty quickly. I do have videos on these if you need to go back and review any of this. Now it's the style and theme. So the first option we have is whether we want a red theme or a dark theme. Now, it doesn't matter what you choose, because either way, you're going to get the dark theme. So you don't put any worry into that. Next is the homepage text. And that is this text that you'll find above the search bar. And you can edit this to whatever you want it to be. And what's cool is it does update in real time. So we can say, maybe I want to yell at everyone and say, find your dream home, exclamation point. Obviously, that looks horrendous, so I'm just going to say, find your dream home. And maybe I do want the exclamation point in there. Looks exciting. Next is your hero image. Now, what the hero image is, it's that photo behind the search bar. Now, we're allowed up to 5 photos for our hero image. And there's 5 already uploaded in there for us. Now, none of them really scream Florida. This photo here is probably the closest thing to a Florida, a fitting photo, and it still doesn't look Florida at all. So you can delete the photos in here and then upload your own. A couple places that are great for photos are, I'm going to type them in the chat once I can get the chat. There we go. Pexels.com, Pexels.com, as well as Pixabay, Pixabay.com. The images on the site are free to use. You don't have to pay for them, and you will not get sued for using them. And they do have some pretty good Florida photos. They are pretty stylized, but they're high quality. You can also, if you would like, create a photo or create an image in Designs and download it and upload it in here. Just something to keep in mind is you want to choose photos with color and less white. So I'll show you an example. So this is a nice colorful photo, a lot of contrast in there. Those reds on greens, I love it. And you see the search bar really pops off there. If I preview this photo that's a lot of white, it really doesn't look so nice, and everything kind of disappears into that photo. Just something to keep in mind moving forward. So we've chosen our homepage text and our photos, and now we can save and continue from here. So we've just knocked out steps 1 and steps 2. Now we're on step 3, which is setting up the content for our site. And we can, excuse me, let me get a drink. So here in step 3, we can choose to add 3 pages to our site, which are, we can see them in this navigation dropdown: company profile, about me, and contact us. Now in the after you create this, you can go back and add more pages to this. We have a good number of widgets we can use. And if you have any HTML widgets, you can also take advantage of those as well. So first thing is this navigation dropdown. Something to keep in mind, sorry, before I get ahead of myself, is all of the pages that we're going to see moving forward. So the company profile, about me, and contact us, they will have these 3 options for us to edit: the navigation, search, and content. So this is, again, the example on the left, and here's what we're going to edit. Navigation is simply changing the order in which these show up in the dropdown. For me, I just like it to be in a taper. That's just an OCD thing about me, and I'll leave it like that. It's really up to you. Now, search engine optimization. This, again, this will be a unique, this will be on every page, but you will have to fill it in uniquely for each. Now we have the page title. So maybe I want to call this, the Orsini company profile. So we can change that to whatever we want. And then we need to edit or choose the URL slug. Now we can go with whatever they have in there and leave it. That's fine. I'm not a fan of the dash, so I'm just going to remove the dash. Next is the SEO description. Now I haven't asked anyone to talk so far, so I'm going to ask, does anyone know, is anyone here familiar with SEO? Also known as search engine optimization. We got an answer in the chat.
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, yeah, so essentially it's
search engine optimization.
Yep, MJ, you're getting remixed again. I think you need to call your internet service provider because you've been having that struggle lately. But yeah, so it's optimizing your site to appear on search engine results. So here is the SEO description is where we can take advantage of this. And now, in full transparency, when I first started teaching this class, I was under the impression that the SEO description was just simply a keyword dump. So all the words that you'd want to show up, under when they're searched, which this isn't quite that. And I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to search Terry Reed Realtor. If I search Terry Reed Realtor, you're going to see all the search results have this paragraph underneath that's in gray. Now this is the SEO description. So you'll want something that's readable, not just a word dump. So what I would do is take all the words that I would want to appear, under in a search, in a search engine search, and put those into a sentence. So maybe think of words like realtor, Palm Beaches, maybe luxury. And then I could turn this around and turn this into a sentence. Say your luxury, Keller Williams, realtor, serving the Palm Beaches since 2019, whatever. You could even say serving the Palm Beaches since 2019 from, I don't know, Boca to, what's the most north point of the Palm Beaches? I don't know. Lantana. I don't know. That's what came to mind. So, and that will appear in the search engine or in the search engine results, that description. Next is content. And this page specifically is the most content heavy page. So once you get this done, it's smooth sailing after that. But even though this is still pretty straightforward and simple. So content, once we click content, we have first is the page header. And that is this title right here. So I can say, change this to the Orsini Company. And then we can change the photo in the back. Again, Pexels or Pixabay, great place to gather some photos for free. Next is the intro paragraph. Now, something to note is you see there is text in all of these fields. If you leave the text in these fields without changing it, because these are technically optional fields, they will appear on your site. I can't tell you how many agent sites I've been on where it says enter quick description of your business. That looks very unprofessional. So make sure to, me personally, what I would do is go through and just delete all of these. And you can quickly do that just by hitting delete and then hitting tab. And it takes you to the next one, hitting tab and deleting them. So you make sure you don't leave anything in there that shouldn't be. So these we have, and I'm going to undo that just to kind of give you a better view of what we're looking at. So we have a quick description of your business. So I could say, established in 2019, whatever else you want to put about your business. Then we have these two major content blocks here. We've got this headline and title and a description, and then a photo, and then a second section of headline, description, and a photo. My suggestion with these are take two aspects of your business and highlight them here. So maybe you do residential and you do commercial. Maybe you do, I don't know, maybe sales and rentals. I've also seen agents take the first one and list out every single city that they serve in. And then take the second one and put in like our belief system, the Y4C2Ts. And then down here we have this footer where we can put maybe more of our values. We could put, our value system, our values, God, family, then business, or something like that. So things that showcase our culture and why someone would want to work with a Keller Williams agent. Just a pro tip, something I learned this week, actually last week, I believe, is, so say I'm going to type in here, let's do this enter headline description. Maybe I want to do the Y4C2Ts here. I'm going to say win or no deal. And then I want to go down to the next line and say, who knows the I? What's the I in Y4C2Ts? Someone's got to know it. I will take a chat. There we go. Thank you, Mackenzie. Integrity. Do the right thing. So anyone notice something here that looks kind of ugly or something that's inconsistent? So when I here, you'll see it says win, win, or no deal, and then it goes down to the next line and then says integrity to do the right thing. Here, it just continues on the same line. So this is where we're going to have to implement a little bit of HTML. And what we can do is do less than, BR greater than, and it will bring it down to the next line. Right now, it's not showing the actual, it's just showing, let's see, the less than is just showing the code, but Once it goes live, it'll drop down to the next line. Just a little pro tip. So let's assume I'd gone through and done all this. We're going to click continue, which is going to take us to the next page, which is about me. Pretty much don't need to do anything on this page, but we have the same options. We have the navigate, we have the search engine optimization and content. So search engine optimization, maybe you want to change the URL slug. And we have the SEO description. With content, this is the beauty of having the marketing profile. It just pulls all that data out of the marketing profile and puts it right here. There's nothing I need to change here at all. But maybe you want to change some things about your bio, whatever, but you should have everything in place. I'm going to click continue. And then it takes us to a contact form. Again, you'll see we have navigation, search engine optimization, and content. Now, again, I wouldn't put too much effort into putting an SEO description for a contact form because that's not going to be where people really land with a search. But you can edit the content, but like the previous pages, they just pull in from the marketing profile. But what I love here is we have a message hint, and it's already auto-filled with, are you looking to buy or sell? What's your time frame? Where are you in your search? And what is your budget? So you can add some more questions if you want. I wouldn't make it too busy, but you have those options. Maybe you want to say, are you looking to buy, sell, or rent if you do a lot of rentals as well. Save and continue. And now we've completed our agent site, which I didn't actually want to save that because I have an agent site set up and now I replaced all those. And here it tells us the things we can do now. We have site FAQ, which is takes us to answers to kw.com, and we can learn more about what we can do with sites. We can go to site settings and manage some of the things or create more pages. I'm going to click manage sites so it takes us back into consumer. And now you'll see if you click on agent site pages, you'll see all the pages you created. I have a bunch of duplicates now that I clicked save rather than skip. And that's on me. And so any questions about the site setup before we get into the app? I know I went through that turbo speed, and I am trying to keep an eye on the chat box. Yes, MySpace coding definitely came in handy. And actually here, this is a great point. I want to jump and look at that page and just verify that worked. Oops. Yes. Oh, no. See, look, I've cut all these. Company profile. No, that's the other company profile. There we go. Oh, no. Yeah, so all these are kind of blending together because I'm redoing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, that's on me. Cool. So let's jump into the app now. And we searched here. There we go. So now we want to set up our app. Something to keep in mind, you won't be able to get people to brand to you in the app until you go through this Kelly guide. So you definitely want to do it. MJ, I believe I already did yours for you. So I'm just we're going to go back to the site and app settings to set up our app. I'm going to click site and app settings, learn more with Kelly guides. And this time we're going to select consumer settings. But I do this every time I teach this class. I forget. I can't do it because I'm not licensed, so I don't get an app. So I have to go out to our demo account. Bear with me 2 seconds. I apologize. You think after teaching this like 10 times, I would remember to be in the right account. So let's get back to where we were. Consumer, site and app settings. learn more with Kelly, guys. And this time, instead of agent sites, we're going to choose consumer settings. I wish they said app, but there we go. It's consumer settings. And click continue. And yes, we want to leave site because we have yet to make any changes on that site. We're not going to lose any save changes. So here we're going to set up the KW app. We're going to customize some guides, and we're going to turn on a smart plan to market our app. So we're going to click get started. And before we get into that, it also tells us, hey, there's some answers.kw.com articles if you want to learn more about these things. Guys, write that down, answers.kw.com. That's a great site to go for some articles on command training. We're going to click next. So the first thing we're doing is we're setting up the landing page to push people to our app. So we can click start here at the bottom after we scroll down. And first thing it asks us is to put in a hero text. Don't be too concerned with this because this actually doesn't show up on the page just yet. So type in, I always tell people, find your dream home is a safe thing to go with. But you have to put something in there, but it's not for anything at the moment. And then it's going to show you what your app URL and your text code is. For the record, they're doing away with the text code. This was a feature that was widely unused, and when it was used, was widely complicated. So if you notice here, it says KW2, and is that a 1 or an I? AB3, is that a 1 or an I? Is that a 0 or an O? So this was causing a lot of confusion, and they decided, hey, let's just nix it completely, and we'll stick with the app URL because that's what people use most anyways. I'm going to click next. You don't need to copy these. We don't need to do anything here except for just put some text in this box. We'll click next. Now, this option is going to allow us to have featured listings on both our site and our app. So we just simply have to turn it on. We turn that, I turned it off and now it's not letting me turn it back on. We would turn it on, we can give it a title, and then we can select some listings. We would do that by clicking select listings, and then we can choose pull up some listings from the KWLS. Now, they do not have to be your listings. They can be any listings in the MLS. Just make sure if they're not your listings that you do get permission from the listing agent to put those on your site. Now, apparently you can't turn it back on after turning it off. So I'm going to click back and then next. So we can, I don't know why it's acting wonky for me, but we can go and edit that in the future. So just, you know, you can have up to 12 listings in your featured listings. As soon as they get sold, they drop off, and then you can add more to it. So click save and continue. And then we're going to set up our guides. Let me see how much time. So, okay, it's 4:37. I'm doing pretty good on time. Let me just get a drink. So guides, this is one of my favorite features on our site and app, on our consumer experience. So what we get to do here is we get to create a value proposition for our clients so they can go and see on the app and immediately see what steps it's going to take to buy or sell with you. So as a, I don't know if, you know, if you remember the first time you transacted, the first time you bought or sold a property, you probably remember how confusing it was and all the questions and all the just mystery behind selling a property. Now this will clarify that, and I'm sure give your clients confidence to work with you because they can see what it's going to take to get this done. So we're going to get started, and we'll start with setup. So we're going to click the arrow next to setup, and we can start with either a buyer or a seller. Now, don't worry. If you choose one or the other, you can still do we can, once we complete one, we can also do the other one. In the future, at some point in time, we will eventually be able to create custom guides for more things, but this is what we have right now, and I still think it's fantastic. So we're going to click, I'm going to go with buyer's guide. And we get to see, again, in Kelly Guide fashion, we get the example over here. And on the right, we have the edits. And we're going to scroll down and click next. So the first thing we get to do is edit this intro. This is the intro to the buying guide. And we can title it. So your buying guide or your buyer's guide, whatever you prefer. And so sorry, Terry, you asked a question. I just saw it now. You can't get past step 1. It keeps asking for bio and job title. The page won't scroll down any further. So here, Terry, this is where it's very important to, with that difference in scroll, you must have your mouse in the right-hand column to scroll. And you'll need to utilize, oh shoot, I did back. Like a scroll wheel or the 2-finger scroll on a trackpad. You won't be able to click on the scroll and be able to get to the bottom. So let's see. So I'll click on setup again, and we're going to go through the buyer's guide and then click next. And so like I said, you can adjust your title. And 2 things you need to keep an eye out for. There's a grammar error in here, and Paul somehow made it on here. So where it says Chris here, it originally said Paul, and the example was Paul. So unless you are Paul, you need to go in here and change it to your name. So I changed it to Chris. Now, the next step would be at the very end. It says, you don't need to follow it exactly, but we do recommend you consider each step, especially if you are a first-time buyer. Now, originally it says first-time buying. That's a grammatic error, so we just need to change that ing to an er. So, er, and then click next. So now we can edit the guide steps. So these are the steps that they're going to see in the app. And this is pretty much how it looks. And we have the option to either rearrange the steps or change the content of the steps and even add our own. So when you first go in here, they're ordered with start your search and get pre-approved. Does that raise any flags for anybody? That should. We do want to get them pre-approved prior to starting the search. So we can simply click on the 6 dots on the right and drag it up to the top, and it's, there we go. Let's get a little quirky on me and put pre-approved first. Now, say I wanted to change this photo in here, I can click the arrow and change the photo, adjust the text, whatever I want, and then also add more steps if I'd like. I recommend you take a look at these steps and get familiar with these steps and really think about your business and think, what do I do prior to the client getting pre-approved? What do I do between the client getting pre-approved and closing? And then also, what do I do after closing? So we can customize this as much as we want and really showcase what makes your business unique and what makes you the fiduciary of the transaction. Once we complete those steps, we're going to click next. And this is where we can now go back and add the seller guide. So I'm going to click add guide, select template of the seller guide, and click next. Now, again, somehow Paul snuck in this one too, and his name will be in there. You do need to make it your name. And they also do the same grammatic error here. Instead of first time selling, you need to make it first time seller. Then click next. And with this, you only start out with 5 steps. I went in and added a few. So this, which one I added? Celebrate. I added, let's see, what did I add in here? I think open house. So we get these, we can go and add more in there and rearrange, same as we did with the buyer's guide. Then I'll click next. And now you'll see we have our buyer's guide and our seller's guide. We can click to review the steps if we'd like. Just make sure we've got everything the way we want it. And click next once we're done with that. Now it brings us to the smart plan where we can market our new app. So this smart plan, what it will do is it will send out an email saying, get the on-demand real estate information you crave all in one place with a nice photo that you'd never see in Florida. And then a day later, it will send out a text message. And the text message will say, hey, this is your name with your team. Did you see that a neighbor listed a home in your area? Download my brand new KW app to check it out. And then it puts in the link. Then a few days later, on day 5, it'll say, did you know that you can see all the cumulative, man, that's a tough one, stats about your neighborhood in my new app? Let me know what you think. And then the app link again. I love this because even if your client sees this first email and downloads your app, these texts are still appropriate. So it's still appropriate to say, hey, did you see someone listed in your area? Doesn't sound so much like, hey, download my app, download my app, download my app, even if they had already downloaded it. So here we can turn that smart plan on, meaning we have it in our smart plan library to utilize. And we can also add people to the smart plan right from here. But say we wanted to go in and edit some of those texts or do something, or we wanted to do it 50 at a time, we can always just turn it on and then add people to it later. But if we did want to add a couple people now, I can click add. I'm going to pull up, let's see, Stephanie Orsini, which is my wife, who's not in this because this is not my command. This is the demo. So let's do MJ. I could select MJ and add to Smart Plan, and then you'll get those emails and texts. I'm not going to do that. Once we're done with this section, we just click next. And now it tells you some things we can do with our app. So we have designs in, we have graphics in designs to promote your app on social media. We also have actually a couple videos that you can take advantage of to promote your app. And then they suggest you create a campaign to push people to your app. With this, I'm just going to click the X. If we don't want to do any of these things, we can just click the X and it's going to take us back out to the consumer. Now, a question I get a lot is, how do I know what my app URL is? So we can click here, Site and App Settings, and click on the URLs tab. And here we'll see we have our domain URL. It's Demo MC, not Demon MC. That always catches me in the corner of my eye. I'm like, huh? And this is our app URL setting. So we can even copy it and paste it in another tab. And then we can see what it's going to look like. Now, so a couple ways you can share your app. I am going to, let me mirror my app. Where is, there we go. Can never find it on my phone. Sorry, while I'm trying to get this sharing worked out, anyone have any questions? Nope. why my Wi-Fi network is not allowing me to do this, but you don't need a Wi-Fi network if you've got a cable. AT&T has not been my friend lately. And it looks like Zoom's not being my friend either. So unfortunately, it's not letting me mirror, which I should be able to do in Zoom. Yeah. My deepest apologies. I was going to just mirror the app. So you can share it out of the app, but you can also share right from this website here. So if you bookmark, so yeah, I can, yeah. I sent you my scheduler, Terry. We'll meet one-on-one, and I can show you how to get past that. So do you have a scroll wheel? Are you using a mouse? If you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, so make sure you put your mouse over the right column where you put all your data and scroll there with your scroll wheel, and you can scroll down. So back to this, something you can do is come here and you can paste, or you can type in the phone number that you would like to text the link to, and it will send the link to download your app to them. And then it'll push them directly to the App Store, and where they can download the app. And I'm really bummed out that this is not working, because I really wanted to show you guys some stuff with the app. So we've got 9 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions at all? Terry, if you wanted to share your screen, I turned participant screen sharing on, and I can see how we can fix that for you. Oh, you're on your phone, and then your computer's beside you, right? Is that what's happening? Yeah, so you're not going to be able to share that screen. So it's been an awfully quiet class today. So I'm actually going to jump over to see if there's anything on Facebook. Nope, it's pretty quiet over there as well. So I'm not going to drag the class out. Oh, Teresita has a question. I have a question. How do you set that banner in the screen? Oh, do you mean this image behind the search bar? Is that what you mean? Yes. Okay. So that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So you can set that. It has you set this. Sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. What am I doing? So what you're referring to is right here, right? This image behind the search bar. So that is, we would set that up. We would set that up when we first set up our site. But if we wanted to go back and change it, we can click into consumer on the bottom left. That's our last option there. Then we would click Site and App Settings at the top. And you'll see here we've got Agent Hero Site images. And this is where we can delete the ones we have or upload new ones if we'd like. I think I just realized why it won't let me share is because I'm not in the account I usually train from. So why I can't share my phone. Got so excited for a second. All right, so it is 4:54. Since it is, we don't have any more. Oh, here we go in the chat. Cool, thanks, awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's been great. Very quiet. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions going forward. Terry, I sent you my my scheduler link. So feel free to schedule some time with me and we can get that sorted out. We can get that all set up for you. Tomorrow, I will be teaching at 4 p.m. and I'll be teaching opportunities, but I will also be speaking at an event called Evolve Summit. I'd love to see you guys there. The website is evolvesummit.tech. It is evolvesummit.tech. And again, I would love to see you guys there. I will be speaking from 12 to 1 in the, Tools of the Trade group. So the Tools of the Trade panel. Have a great evening, guys. Thanks for coming. I will see you tomorrow.